Welcome, tiny adventurers, to Grounded. Have you ever wondered what an open-world survival crafting game would feel like if you were the size of an ant? Then this game is for you. To celebrate Grounded's 1.0 release, I've made a Quickstart guide for those of you wanting to try it out. Grounded can be played either single or multiplayer with up to 4 people. There's even a new feature they recently added called Shared Worlds that allows you and your friends to play on the same multiplayer map even if your schedules don't match. You play as one of 4 teenagers, Max, Willow, Pete, and Hoops. The only real differences between them are their voice lines.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Hey, I'm Willow. Willow.
My name's Peter. My friends call me Pete.
Allie. Whoop.
Pick your favorite and you're ready to go.
Ready for adventure.
If you're new to the genre, or if it's your first time playing this game, I highly recommend starting a new game with some custom settings. You can lower the difficulty, but an even better option is to locate the backpack items on death at the bottom and change it from drop backpack to respawn with you. This game is more difficult than its looks let on, and changing this option will make your life a whole lot less stressful. When the game starts out, you awaken dazed and confused of your surroundings. From the looks of it, you came out of this tiny box. Well, it's time to explore. The first mechanic that this game introduces is how to unlock recipes. In order to learn how to craft, you have to take every new piece of loot or ingredient you discover and place it in the resource analyzers that you find in the various field stations across the map.
Well, logic dictates that there are probably more of these stations.
These analyzers have a maximum of 3 charges for scanning at any given time, but they recharge pretty quickly. Ideally, you should build your first base near one of these stations. When you first start out, always make sure to scan one of the pebblets you found first. This gives you access to craft the pebblet axe, which is an important item to help you get started. It can be used as a weapon, but it can also chop grass, which is used to craft buildings and furniture. Speaking of which, you'll unlock walls, doors, and the workbench, which is really important, if you bring a grass plank to the resource analyzer. Even if you're not scanning the required things, leveling up your brain power will unlock useful recipes automatically. The next order of business is to find food and water. This is a survival game after all. Food is relatively easy to come by. There are tiny mushrooms all over, but you can also cook the small bugs over a campfire. Water, on the other hand, is a little trickier. You'll probably start off by drinking the nasty water on the ground. It's not that bad, but drinking it makes you hungry. As long as you have a bunch of food to counter this, then this water is fine. Though, an even better source are the dew droplets you can find by looking up. If you see a dew droplet hanging from a leaf, simply figure out which blade of grass it's connected to and give it a good whack. The fresh water will drop to the ground, allowing you to drink it.
Water filtration tablets needed.
Now that we've got the basics out of the way, our next main goal is to get to a point where we can craft the insect axe. It's a level 2 axe that can chop down the weeds and give you a supply of lumber for base building. Once you're able to make one of those, your base will really start to grow. However, it needs parts from ladybugs, Bombadier beetles, and silk made from spiderwebs. Let's figure out how to get each of those parts now. The quote-unquote easiest one is to grab spiderwebs from the spider nests. Be careful, if you're not ready to take on spiders just yet, make sure to keep your distance and get ready to run. If you haven't discovered it yet, scanning the web fibers will unlock the spinning wheel. This device will allow you to turn web fibers into silk rope. Our next target is the ladybug. This lumbering large creature will be tough for the inexperienced, but there's a few options to make this fight easier. Before fighting the ladybug, we need a few things. For armor, we have 3 choices right now: clover armor, red ant armor, or acorn armor. I usually run around in a full set of red ant armor since the set bonus helps with construction, but since we're going into battle, the acorn armor is the best. You don't even need to fight much to even craft it. If you're following the main quest, the large tree in the middle of the map is where you can find large amounts of acorn shells and sap. Next up is the Weevil shield. Before you can learn to parry creature attacks, the Weevil shield can be used to block almost all attacks and help you learn your enemy's attack patterns. The main ingredients are raw weevil meat, crude rope, and grub hides. By using an acorn shovel, you can dig up grubs from the ground. These small burrowing creatures can be seen moving around. However, there's a chance that a larva will be dug up instead. Be careful. Weevils can be pretty hard to find. The tricky thing is that you have to find at least 4 weevils close together. The raw weevil meat they drop will expire if left alone for too long. Once that's done, your shield is ready to go. Next up is to craft a one-handed weapon. Either the pebblet spear or the larva blade will work, though the larva blade also applies poison to the enemies you hit, so it might be better. Now that we're all geared up, it's time to find ourselves a ladybug. Ladybugs tend to roam all over the place. Keep exploring until you find one. Once you do, give it a little love tap to start the fight. Thanks to the shield, you won't take damage in this fight. Just keep your shield up and learn its attack patterns. The best strategy is to stay at a decent range and wait for its charging attack and parry it. To parry an attack, you have to block at the last minute. If you parry correctly, you take no damage, your shield gauge won't go up, barely any stamina will be used, and it helps daze your enemies, leaving them open to attacks. With the gear you have, ladybugs will be a lot easier than they appear. However, you need the ladybug head, not the ladybug parts, to build the axe. If you don't get any ladybug heads, you're going to have to kill a couple more. With practice, you won't even need a shield to kill them. Now we're ready to fight our first real tough enemy that gives us the last part of our new axe, the Bombadier beetle. You can find the Bombadier beetle to the southwest near the large rake, to the south close to the hedges, or this collection of rocks called the Spade Gulch. There's a couple more items that will help you against this enemy. The red ant club is a slow but strong weapon, and the sprig bow can be useful at range. However, the sprig bow may objectively be a worse weapon for this fight. The Bombadier beetle's most dangerous attack is the ranged acid bomb, which it only uses if you're far away. It's more of a situational weapon. All of the materials to craft the red ant club come from red ant workers and red ant soldiers. You have to be careful with the soldiers. If they make a hissing sound, they're about to attack, and that's when it's time to parry. Crafting a spiky sprig, which are made from thistle needles, will help you with the ants. If you're wearing a full suit of ant armor, the ants also won't be aggressive towards you. The most important strategy when fighting these beetles is to strafe and sprint around its attacks. Let me demonstrate with the first strategy of going in full melee. You want to get in close, and while fighting it, you want to strafe around it when it does its attacks. If it launches any kind of acid bombs, make sure not to stand in the acid clouds. Those do massive amounts of damage. They might be surprisingly easy. Let's try a ranged fight instead. While at range, I can use the grass as cover, but like I said, the ranged acid bomb is its most dangerous attack. It can kill you with only 1 or 2 well-placed hits. Remember to bring bandages with you. After a few fights, they won't seem so bad anymore, but it will take practice and the first few battles may be frustrating. Now that we finally have all of our ingredients, we can craft the insect axe. This axe allows you to chop up weeds and build some very important items. It unlocks so many new recipes that it becomes time to build a large base for yourself. From here, it's up to your imagination what you want to build. But this definitely unlocks the most important item, the dew collector. With these, you'll always have a source of water to drink. It's especially handy if your base has 2 of them.
Don't even need to boil it.
If you have plenty of spare time, you should also work on a massive project that people refer to as sky bridges. Sky bridges are basically man-made platforms that defy gravity, but allow you to traverse the map quickly and safely. As you can see, a short jog and I can get to the large tree in the middle of the yard in a very short amount of time. I don't even have to worry about spiders or other creatures. One more thing before I end today's video. Here's a little trick that helped me build my sky bridges. In the game, you can chop down grass planks and place them onto a plank pallet. Once the pallet is full, and you're carrying 8 planks yourself, wearing the full red ant armor set, simply press F to relocate the plank pallet and bring it where you need to go. This little trick basically allows you to transport 32 planks all at once. With 32 planks, you can build 8 grass floors at a time. Your sky bridges will be done before you know it. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful. I'll see you next time.